Hello there everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in again for another weekly update on news and information about DCS World. I'm your host, of course, Prickly Hedgehog. Another Friday has rolled around. I hope this one finds you in good spirits. Lots of stuff going on right now. I am enmeshed in a lot of work at work, and I will be working straight through the next several days, unfortunately, which is really going to hamper my ability to do any kind of flying, which really sucks because I was really enjoying some of the campaigns right now, including the new F-14 campaign by Heatblur, and of course that lovely Raven 1 campaign, which is just dynamite. But let's not dwell too much on that. What does Eagle Dynamics have for us this week? Well, we'll start with the housekeeping. If you're running Windows 7, and honestly, who the heck is running Windows 7 right now? I guess there may be some people out there, but I would think it would be more sort of businesses or maybe some government institutions that haven't, been able to upgrade for whatever reason. But maybe there are some end users out there, home users, that are still running it. Well, with 2.7 coming up in the next few months, and it will be signposted officially, so you've got some time. Basically, you're going to need to upgrade to Windows 10 if you are operating that old operating system. Again, I can't think of too many people who would be. But essentially, as I said last week, remember that Eagle Dynamics is going to have a new jump-off point to 2.7. They're skipping, 2.6. Because of the way that they're implementing things in the core engine, it was more practical for them to go 2.7 in the numerical order and skip 2.6 altogether. Some people were very upset about that, I might add, last week. But nevertheless, hopefully it makes sense to most of you. I don't know if there's a hard and fast rule about alphanumeric and numerical orders of open beta, but Eagle Dynamics has decided this is what they want to do, and we'll live with that. But as I said, this is going to be curtains for Windows 7. So there's your warning. Stay tuned. Get to Windows 10, otherwise you may not be able to play the game anymore. This week's newsletter, though, is really focused on the channel map and some new developments that are going to put into that for World War II. Now, I don't think this is any kind of accident. Of course, we know that the mosquito is coming out at the end of Quarter 1. We know that Quarter 1 is also going to see the beautiful and exciting volumetric clouds that Wags, the naughty man, continues to tease us with those flirtatious, cloudy videos of his salacious stuff. And of course we're all waiting for that. So any changes to the channel map and also the World War II stuff is, I believe, is not coincidental. It is really there to support, of course, the mosquito, which I know that Eagle Dynamics has tremendous support for, and why not? It's a beautiful aircraft, and they're doing a nice job with it. I guess the final, impression will be what they put in the game, but for now it looks pretty exciting. So what are they doing? Well, it's focused on Biggin Hill here. So they're adding in the famous fighter base. Obviously, it protected southeast England from Luftwaffe bombers during the Battle of Britain, which of course was the next step in the World War II campaign for England after the defeat at Dunkirk and France being overrun. The buck stopped with them at the Battle of Britain. Unfortunately, they were able to hold out. Otherwise, the world would have been maybe a different place. Anyway, over the course of the war, fighters based at Biggin Hill claimed thousands of enemy aircraft at the cost of hundreds of aircrew lives, unfortunately. Very tough time for very, very young men, which seems incredible now. All right, so they note here too, just be reminded that, of course, the map is in early access right now, which means it's 20% off. So if you're kicking around buying the Mosquito and you don't own the channel map, or even if you don't own Normandy, unfortunately the two maps are not connected in any way at this time. Maybe that's something that could happen in the future. It would be awesome, but for now they're two separate things. But the Mosquito is going to look wonderful as a complement to that map, so do consider that if you are looking for a World War II theater for your brand new Mosquito. All right, new unique objects for that map are going to include a host of churches, a lighthouse, and the Dover Town Hall, and I think there's a castle in there as well. So just there's a list of stuff here. I won't go through the list, but just be aware there are some new physical assets, and they're fine-tuning a lot of those. Same goes for France as well. My French is not good enough to read out all of these accurately, but we're talking here the Hotel de Ville at the Dunkirk, the the town hall in Calais, the lighthouse in Calais. So there's some cool stuff there going in, lots of attention to detail here, and they're making what they described here as fine edits to building and terrain textures, and final testing is now in progress. So something to look forward to for, as I said, the World War II map there, the channel map as it's known. Now, in addition to that, they're also looking here at missions. And there are around about 120 or 110 missions, I think, for World War II right now. They're adding some more, and they're also adding in a difficulty selector option used in conjunction with the F10 comms menu. So now the options are going to be easy, medium, and hard, which will allow you to revisit missions and test your improved skill set. Single player and campaign missions include new briefings. So you're going to see things like wide and varied, they're saying here, but bomber escort, flight section scrambles, anti-shipping strikes, photographic reconnaissance, which was a big part of World War II because obviously we didn't have satellites at that period, airfield strikes, train strafing, always fun, and close air support, as well as bomber fighter intercepts, which is the bread and butter of the terribly brave pilots from England during that period. Brutal time, of course, and many a life lost. But there's some wonderful stories too. If you're interested in that period of history, some incredible documentaries out there on YouTube, as well as some really good stories. I read the biography of New Zealand fighter pilot ace Alan Dare, who flew with some of the greats at that time, Sailor Milan, Douglas Bader, and so on and so forth, and had some tremendous stories about his experiences, and obviously some significant trauma too at that time, which wasn't properly diagnosed, after losing friends and having a couple of crashes. He was shot down a couple of times as well, and had to bail out, I think, over the English Channel at one point too. So, incredibly interesting time, and really, a major change too. Incredible development of aircraft during that period. Remember, we had piston engine aircraft at the beginning of the war. By the end, we then had rocket propelled aircraft and jet engines and all sorts of crazy stuff that now we take for granted, but was actually hastily developed and really potentially could have had major consequences, particularly from the German side, obviously, but fortunately they ran out of resources and luck to bring those things to bear, and we got to reap the benefit of that technology, which was pretty much ransacked and stolen by the Allies post-war, but had it been developed earlier, things could have been a whole lot different. Fortunately, it wasn't for us, but that's history, and a cool period of our history, and a beautiful period of flight. If you enjoy those kinds of aircraft, a lot of people do enjoy the purity of that kind of flying. It's quite different from the jets, and some different considerations to consider or take into consideration. But the fighter pilot tactics and the dogfighting tactics, if you like, are still in play even with the jets. The tactics, obviously, the distances and the speeds are a lot different, but nevertheless, some of those tactics are still widely employed with the modern aircraft too. So you can still learn quite a bit, even though you have an older aircraft. All right, well, we'll leave it there. Obviously, I'm very excited about this. I'm very much looking forward to the Mosquito. Last week's newsletter was a boomer. Obviously, many of you were very, very excited about Eagle Dynamics' 2021 plans, and like you, I'm equally thrilled about the implementation of numerous things in the game, particularly changes to the clouds, changes to the Vulkan API stuff to improve the game engine and the frame rate speed, all those kinds of things. Those are really exciting things. So hopefully we can see more of this in game in the future. Like I said, Wags keeps teasing us with those glorious videos of clouds, the naughty man, and but we don't have them quite yet, but it is coming in Q1, and I can't wait to get my Mosquito up amongst the clouds and just try that aircraft out. So we'll leave it there. Again, want to thank you all for the likes and subscribes over the last week or so, and keep it coming. It really helps the channel chug along, and it helps me with content and provides me with the motivation to continue, so which I will, as long as we can keep doing that. So again, like and subscribe. Give me your comments below, as last week's letter showed. It was pretty productive, a lot of discussion about things. Let's keep doing that. Let's keep having those conversations going. And let me know what your thoughts are on this week's newsletter, and any of the other topics too are worth discussing. Thanks, guys. This is Prickly Hedgehog out. We'll see you next time. Take care and carry on flying.